Hello and welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we are walking right into the middle of the supermarket, specifically that chaotic entrance area where the trolleys live. If you work in retail, or frankly if you've just been doing your weekly shop lately, you know that the humble shopping trolley is having a bit of a serious identity crisis. It's glowing, it's beeping, and it's promising to change everything. We're talking, of course, about smart carts.
It really is the hardware of the moment, isn't it? You can't open a retail trade journal right now without seeing a press release about a new pilot. The pitch is always the same: faster trips for the shopper, bigger baskets for the retailer, and, a generally sleek, futuristic vibe for the store.
Right, and that is the glossy brochure version. But our mission today is to strip that back a bit. We've gone through a massive stack of technical breakdowns, implementation guides, and figure out what's actually happening.
And that's what we need to decode today. It's not just about picking a cart that looks nice. It's about infrastructure, data integration, and honestly, the psychology of how people buy their food.
Exactly. If you choose the wrong system based just on aesthetics, you're going to inherit a massive operational headache. So let's start with a bit of a reality check. I was digging through the background notes, and I found a patent filed in 1995 for a mobile shopping cart that tracked items. 1995, so this is not exactly a new idea. So what's the catalyst now? Why the explosion in 2026?
It's the convergence of three specific things. First, you've got Android platforms, which have matured to the point where they're stable, cheap, and easy to develop for.
Okay.
Second, the hardware components, cameras, weighing sensors, chips, have just plummeted in price while shooting up in performance. And third, connectivity. We finally have the bandwidth in stores to handle all that data. The execution can finally match the ambition.
Okay, so the tech is ready.
Absolutely. We need to talk about form factors. That is decision number one. You have to categorize them by how they physically fit into your world. And broadly, you have three species of smart cart.
And the first is what we're calling the fixed tablet cart.
That's right, the integrated unit.
The sort of Tesla of shopping trolleys.
That's a fair analogy. The tablet, the scanner, the trolley, it's one single fused product. It looks incredibly slick. The screen is always there. The charging is usually nested, so you just push them into a row like normal. It feels like a premium upgrade.
But there's a catch, surely.
You have to throw away your existing fleet. If you have 500 perfectly good metal trolleys, they're now scrap. And then you've got the storage issue.
Ah, right. They live outside in the car park.
Exactly. Can these high-tech units survive a rainy Tuesday in Manchester or a heat wave in Madrid?
So that leads us to the second option, the retrofit.
All right. This is the middle ground. You keep your metal basket, but you rip off the handle and replace it with a smart bar. A handle that has the screen and scanner built in.
So you solve the fleet waste problem.
You do, but you still have those outdoor durability issues to worry about.
And then we have the third category, the clip-on or snap-on system.
This is the fascinating one from a business model perspective. Here, the smart part and the cart part are separate. You have a wall of tablets charging at the store entrance. The customer grabs a device, clips it onto a standard trolley, and starts shopping.
I could see the CFO liking this. You're buying consumer electronics, not rolling stock.
Exactly, it's capital efficient. If only 20% of your customers use it initially, you only buy enough tablets for 20% of your fleet. As adoption grows, and we are seeing double-digit adoption rates in live projects, you just buy more tablets.
You don't need to buy more trolleys.
Precisely. And there's a marketing angle here too, isn't there? That wall of screens at the entrance.
It's a massive digital billboard. You can't miss it. It signals innovation the moment you walk in.
Even if a customer doesn't take one today, they see it.
So you pick your hardware. Now we get to the part that seems to divide the industry the most. How does the machine know what I've bought? This is the scan versus vision war.
This is the battle between magic and reality. On one side, you have computer vision. These systems use cameras pointing into the basket. You drop an item in, the AI recognizes it, adds it to the bill. No scanning, just drop and go.
Which sounds like the dream. It's the Amazon Go experience on wheels. Why wouldn't everyone choose that?
Because in grocery retail, almost perfect is a disaster. Think about the complexity of a supermarket assortment. You have tens of thousands of SKUs. Packaging changes constantly. Christmas editions, value packs, brand redesigns.
So if Coca-Cola puts Santa on the bottle for December, the camera might get confused.
It might, yes. And you have to train the AI on every single visual variation. But the real issue, the thing that really matters, is the margin risk.
Is it really that big of a deal? A few mistakes here and there.
It is the kicker. Grocery margins are razor thin, typically 2 to 4%. If the computer vision misses a single item or confuses a premium organic steak for a standard one, that single error can wipe out the profit for the entire basket.
Wow.
The technology is impressive, but is it robust enough to protect that 2% margin across millions of transactions? The sources we've seen suggest not yet.
So the alternative is the boring old barcode scanner.
It's not boring. It's reliable. That's why the sources we analyzed, especially the implementation guides, heavily lean towards scan-led systems. The customer scans the barcode. It works from day one with 100% of your products. People already know how to do it from self-checkout.
Like low friction?
And high accuracy. Now, we are seeing some hybrid models, which is probably the sensible middle ground.
So that's scan-first vision support.
Exactly. You scan the item to build the basket, but cameras are watching to ensure security. They're verifying that what you scanned matches what you dropped in.
That segues perfectly into the topic that keeps store managers awake at night. Loss prevention. Theft. If I'm doing the scanning, what's stopping me from forgetting to scan the expensive wine?
Traditionally, smart carts used scales. You put an item in, the cart weighs it, and checks if that weight matches the barcode data.
Tried and tested.
It is, but there's a massive operational trap here that most people miss. If you use that scale to determine the price like weighing a bag of loose apples to calculate the cost, that scale becomes what's legally called a price-defining instrument.
That sounds like expensive jargon.
It is expensive legal jargon. In most places, those scales require strict, certified calibration. So imagine you have 100 carts in a store. You legally have to calibrate 100 individual scales every single year.
And across 500 stores.
It's an operational expenditure nightmare. So the recommendation is to use the scale for security only. Check for the presence of the item, but don't use it for pricing loose produce.
So you have the customer weigh the apples on a separate scale and print a sticker.
You do. Or you move to vision-based security. The cameras again. High-quality cameras with dedicated AI chips on the cart can detect behavior. They can see scan past no scanned, where I scan one item but drop two in.
Or label switching.
Exactly. Like putting a banana sticker on a bottle of whiskey. The camera sees I'm holding a bottle, but the system registers a banana. It flags it immediately.
This leads to the concept of risk-based controls. I found this really interesting. It's about moving away from just random checks.
Random checks are the worst of both worlds. They annoy honest shoppers, and smart thieves know it's just a numbers game. Intelligent systems analyze the session in real time. Did the customer avoid a lot of items? Did they take a long time in the liquor aisle but not scan anything?
So the system builds a trust score for that specific trip.
Essentially, yes. If the score drops, it flags for an audit. But, and this is key for staff efficiency, it tells the employee what to check. Instead of audit this entire trolley, the app on their device says, check the 3 bottles of wine. It turns a 5-minute search into a 30-second verification.
Let's get tactical. If I'm a retailer sitting across from a hardware vendor, what are the questions I'm forgetting to ask? The stuff that isn't on the spec sheet.
There are a few hidden deal breakers. First, screen orientation. Do you go vertical, like a smartphone, or horizontal, like a tablet?
Does it really matter?
It does. Vertical is great for lists and navigation. It's what we're used to. But horizontal gives you more real estate for retail media, for ads, and that's a huge revenue driver.
But the bigger question is ergonomics.
Scanning performance IS adoption. That is a direct quote from the research. If the scanner is slow, or if I have to twist my wrist at a weird angle to use it, I'm going to abandon the cart. The best systems have extractable scanners.
So a handheld unit you can pull out.
Right. To scan a crate of water on the bottom shelf so you don't have to lift it. Nobody wants to lift a 10-kilo crate just to hear a boop.
And what about the environment? Ruggedness.
You need to ask for IP ratings against dust and water. And ask about temperature. If you're in a cold climate, do the batteries have heaters? If you're in a hot one, is there overheat protection?
And battery life, of course.
You need at least 6 hours of continuous runtime. But more importantly, you need software logic that manages that. The system simply shouldn't let a customer unlock a cart if the battery is below 20%. There's nothing worse than your cart dying in the frozen food aisle.
It kills the experience dead. That brings us to the hidden decider. Software. We spend so much time looking at the plastic and metal, but the software is the brain. There was a concept in the notes called the ecosystem approach. Can you unpack that?
This is critical for the IT folks listening. The ecosystem approach means you do one integration with your point of sale, your POS system.
So the POS remains the source of truth.
It has to. You never want the cart calculating prices independently. That leads to mismatches where the shelf says £2 and the part says 205. It destroys trust instantly. The cart should just be a window into the POS.
And once that pipe is built,
You can mix and match. You can run clip-on carts in your city stores and huge fixed carts in your hypermarkets, all running off the same core software without redoing the IT project.
and what about when the internet breaks? Because let's be honest, supermarket Wi-Fi is notoriously patchy.
Offline resilience. It's non-negotiable. A store is not a data center. If I'm deep in the back corner of the store and the Wi-Fi drops, the app cannot freeze.
The spinning wheel of death.
Exactly. If that appears while I'm trying to buy milk, I am leaving the cart and walking out. The cart has to score the basket locally and sync up when the connection returns. The customer should never even know.
Okay, let's talk about the payoff. I've scanned, I've packed. How do I pay?
There are two models. The stepping stone is pay at checkout. You transfer your digital basket to a kiosk or a cashier and pay there. It's good for receipt compliance, but it doesn't solve the queue problem entirely.
And the advanced model.
The holy grail is pay on device, pin on glass. You tap your card or phone directly on the cart's screen.
That sounds risky from a security standpoint. You're processing payments on a tablet that's bouncing around a store.
That's why it's hard. It requires MPOC certification mobile payments on commercial off-the-shelf devices. It's a rigorous standard. You can't just slap a generic payment app on there. But if you have it, it is the true queue buster. It takes those large 200-pound baskets completely out of the front-end lines.
So we've covered hardware and software. Now for the third lens, commercial value. Because these screens are also advertising space.
This is where the project pays for itself. We're talking about retail media, but it's different from a billboard at a bus stop. This is advertising at the decision moment.
Right in front of the salsa.
Exactly. You scan tortilla chips, and the screen suggests the salsa. It's contextual. Or a recipe pops up that adds 3 more items to your basket. The conversion rates are significantly higher.
But there was a strong warning in the notes about ownership here.
The golden rule. The retailer must own the data and the governance. Some hardware vendors will offer you cheap carts in exchange for the media rights. Don't take that deal. You need to own the canvas. You keep the media revenue.
And you need to be able to measure it.
Closed loop attribution.
Okay.
Because the ad is on the same device used to make the purchase, you know for a fact if the customer saw the banner and then bought the product. That data is absolute gold dust for brands.
There's so many layers to this. We even saw mentions of indoor navigation.
Using geomagnetic fingerprinting to guide you to the peanut butter or flashing LED lights on the shelf labels to say, "Here I am." It's all about removing friction.
So we've covered a huge amount of ground. If we were to boil this down into a checklist for a retailer who's ready to pilot, what are the key steps?
I break it down into 4 key decisions. Number 1, form factor. Fixed cart or flexible clip-on. Check your storage space and your climate.
Number 2.
Basket method. Stick to scan first. It's reliable and it protects your margins. Number 3, payment. If you want to kill queues, you need pay on device, that pin on glass we talked about. And number 4, loss prevention. Decide if you want the maintenance-heavy scales or the tech-heavy cameras.
And one final piece of advice for the negotiation table.
Don't ask a vendor what features they have. Everyone has a feature list. Ask them how they handle the bad days. What happens when the Wi-Fi dies? What happens when a battery fails mid-shop? What happens when a customer tries to steal? That's where the success of a project is really determined.
The goal is creating experiences, not queues. I like that sentiment.
It really sums it up.
Well, that brings us to the end of this deep dive on smart carts. It's a space moving very quickly from gimmick to essential infrastructure. And it seems like 2026 is the year it finally lands.
I think you're right. The cart is finally catching up with the rest of the store.
Thank you for listening. We'll see you on the next deep dive.